Quick question for you. Obviously, you've gotten to know David Perdue very well and Kelly Loeffler over the last year. We got two rock-solid senators there. I do not understand what the issue is. They've served us very well. I thought they'd sweep right back in.
Yes. Well, I have to tell you, yes, David Perdue has been one of the leaders on rebuilding the U.S. military. And as you all know, Georgia has more military bases and posts than any other state in the country. And his opponent, who is a trust fund socialist, John Ossoff, has said he would support reducing or defunding parts of the military, and that would cost thousands of Georgians their jobs. It would adversely impact the men and women in uniform, and it would adversely impact all of those that are the civilian military that work for or contract to those military bases.
Senator, I don't know a weaker candidate. I haven't seen they propped this guy up for the second time, and he's just awful.
Well, I think that one of the things that people want in an elected representative is someone who knows the state and knows the economy and is going to carry the values of the state to the U.S. Senate. John Ossoff is going to be a rubber stamp for Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer has basically said, look, you run for this, we'll raise you the money. But honestly, I don't think the people of Georgia are going to turn their Senate seats over to the liberal elites out of Hollywood or Beverly Hills or New York City. I think the people of Georgia want to put their stamp on that. And Chuck Schumer said in his very jubilant Election Day remarks that first they're going to go take Georgia. Not they're going to fight for it, not they're going to win it, they're going to take it. So they're planning to take the seat away from the people of Georgia. And he said, then we're going to change America. And his kind of change is something that is frightening. It is totally a road to socialism. They want to expand the Supreme Court. They want to give statehood to D.C. and to Puerto Rico because it gives them a permanent Senate majority. Then they want to take away your private health insurance, take health insurance away from 153 million Americans and 27 million Medicare enrollees and put everybody into the Medicaid program, which is, as Joe Biden calls it, the public option. And so you would lose that, and everybody would be in a government-run plan. Then they've also said they're going to repeal the Trump tax cuts. But, of course, we know all of this is what they're planning to do in the first 100 days if they get the House, the Senate, and the White House. And we, after a year of this, we would not recognize ourselves.
Senator, after he learned he was in the runoff, the very first thing, and I mean the very next day, that John Ossoff did was head for a fundraiser in San Francisco. Of course. This is where the liberal elites are. And here's an interesting tie for that San Francisco leaning that John Ossoff has. When he filed his ethics form to run in the Democratic primary, he forgot to put on there that he had worked for Al Jazeera, which is a news network out of Qatar. And we know how socialist Al Jazeera is. And then he also forgot to put on there that he had worked for a media company in China that is primarily owned by the Chinese Communist Party. Then after the Democratic primary, he had to go back in and amend his forms and put that information on there. And then he changed his story again and said, well, that the work was under the threshold. He hadn't divulged it because it was under the required threshold of $5,000. So either he is doing charitable and nonprofit work for Al Jazeera, which is a hostile news network, and he is doing nonprofit work producing documentaries for this company owned by, in large part, by the Chinese Communist Party.
Really?
So I think that he needs to come clean on what that affiliation was and exactly what type of work he did.
I doubt it. Listen, we're talking with United States Senator Marsha Blackburn. She was sworn into the Senate in January of 2019. You're a student of the game, so how do you look upon Georgia, how historic this is that it happens to be our two senators who should be on a stagger, but because of the way it fell with Johnny Isakson stepping out, Kelly getting appointed, and now running for the final 2 years of his term, who would have thought that all eyes would have been on our two senators?
Well, that is very true. But, you're exactly right. This year, it all comes down to Georgia. And the control of the Senate is going to rest with Georgia. And the eyes of the world are literally on Georgia and how Georgia is going to manage this election, how Georgians are going to vote. And, of course, we're encouraging all your listeners to get out there to cast their ballots. The early vote has started. So get in line and be sure that you vote now. Don't wait until January 5th to go vote.
Hey, Senator.
So,
Senator, the last question. How was 2019 compared to 2020, your first 2 years in the Senate? How did they differ?
Well, of course, 2020 has been, in Tennessee, we had tornadoes and winds and storms that we were dealing with. And then, like everyone else on the face of the earth, we've been left to deal with COVID, which we are right now. We've had a spike in Tennessee. So we have appreciated the opportunity to work with people and help them through what has been a very tough time, and looking forward to seeing Senator Loeffler. She's been a great partner, came in working with me on small business issues and on protecting life. And, of course, as I said, David Perdue, you have no stronger supporter of the U.S. military than David Perdue.
He has been fantastic. It's been a great 6 years for him. Obviously, Kelly on a rapid learning curve in her first year in as well, but she's done a great job. So I just don't understand it. Senator Blackburn, thank you for your time this morning. Thank you for your service to this country as well.
Thank you so much. Good to be with you. Bye-bye now.